Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 Mocks of the Week episode. Sorry we missed last week, but we've been working on some custom builds of our own in the studio. So the process of building cool custom builds got in the way of talking about cool custom builds. So this week's episode is going to have pictures of cool custom models from the week before and the week before that. Links to everybody I'm talking about are in the description below if you want to learn more about these designers. And before we jump into honorable mentions this week from the designer Kevin J. Walter, a color update for Season 4 and 5 of the Rocinante has come out for micro scale plus a scalable Razorback. And then from the designer Jarek, the minifig scale Razor Crest, a very long awaited model, has finally been completed. And we're super stoked with the way it turned out. Anyways, links for the instructions are in the description below if you want to help support the channel. And now let's jump into honorable mentions. From Soccer Kid 6, this is Retribution's Edge. Nice orange color highlights on a very clean spaceship. Here's some wonderful shapes and colors that came from Marcus Roebler. The title is Velocity 107. Because we're now in the month of February, there's a lot of rovers for February from Frost. This is Chapter 8, The Doctor is In. Black lights are very fun. Jens Orndorff titled this Hands Up or I'll Shoot. Only now when you see a minifigure head and hair on a larger body do you realize how massive minifigures' head are in scale to their regular size bodies. Anyways, moving on. Here's another amazing February build from Frost, Chapter 6 Interlude. Certainly a unique design for a rover. Andreas Lenander titled this CDX21, and I particularly love the build for the wheels. They're actually made of those ship wheels that have been studded in. Ochre Jelly's always very relevant with his meme-related builds. This is no different. And from LEGO, here is a February 2021 model. So simple and clean. Nobuteri titled this Stormer, and it's such a simple and effective way to put together a brick-built fig. I like the use of the torsos as the bottom shin pieces. That really makes all the difference. From Niek Brick, this is Panasonic Jaguar Racing 20XX Misbehave. I'm assuming that's the name of this racing boat. It's got some great details and color highlights. And then look at the cleanliness of this spaceship from Thomas Jenkins. It is the Super 6. The brick-built letter 6 on the one wing is awesome. I love the offset cockpit just in front of one of the thrusters. It's a super solid spaceship design. And now we're looking at Cyber Scylla from Cameron. I'm assuming that name is in reference to Ursula from The Little Mermaid with the octopus tentacles at the bottom and of course the sort of trident-like staff. Great looking character. And then Zito Vince made a track cycling motorized model where the legs of the cyclist indeed spin around. It's a wonderful looking shape. I even like the simple design for the rings below. And now we're looking at a great micro scale build from Marcus Roebler. The title is Artemis Outpost, and there's a lot of fun, strange looking connections the closer and closer you look at this small floating island. Stylistically, this is a bit of a change up for Eero Okkonen, and it's awesome. The color combinations are really great. I like the reflection of the sunglasses, especially for this character. The title is For Those About to Rise Up. And then from Daniel Brixon, this is Black Mage from Final Fantasy. Here is a Phoenix Nest work in progress pick from the Mandalorian. Very impressive in terms of size alone. And I can't wait to see like a full lineup of all these big ships together. From Eero Okkonen again, this is titled Barney. You can read the description if you go to his Flickr. It's pretty funny. And then Forlorn Empire titled this Aladdin Racing Billy McZip. Second time I've seen hot dog and pneumatic T-pieces playing together. Forlorn Empire titled this Life Finds a Way. And finally from Redverse, this is Bukata. Alrighty, now let's jump into the top 10 models of the week. I don't present these in any order of best to worst. I just like talking about cool custom LEGO in this video. From BobDeQuatre, this is Pegasus Racing Epsilon-K SkyRacer. The opened mouth style connection towards the front is a really nice touch. I also like those 4 little light pieces used from the Rally Racer set not too long ago. The ski pieces that make up for the vent detailing for the intakes is a really interesting touch, and the color highlights and styling for this racer cannot be understated. There really are a lot of interesting shapes and sleek cutting angles combined here. Number 9 in the list is one of my favorite brick-built figs I think I've ever seen from Eero Okkonen, and he's also got maybe the best title I've seen in quite a while. It's quite a mouthful. This is Dedofiktion Racing Unlimited Warpplasm Turbothrust Rocketsuit. But that kind of explains it all. When you look at it, you go, okay, that's a giant rocket suit. It's meant for racing. It's got It's made of Warpplasm. I'm assuming that's maybe the thrust that it's using. It's weird, it's retro, it's sci-fi, it's kind of got a cyberpunk feel to it as well. And the character seems to be having a lot of fun with this Turbothrust rocket suit. I think I would too. I particularly love the design for the bottoms of the legs. The simple noodle hairstyle works well, and the small curved peach tile pieces for the center of the torso is an excellent highlight to have right in the middle of the figure. Now, the Bonsai competition has been going on for a little while. Know Your Pieces may have won this thing. I absolutely love this model. The title is Levitating Bonsai, and I love that he managed to take a picture of this thing in an actual bonsai garden, which is pretty cool. It really pops compared to some of the actual bonsai trees. And I also really appreciate that the designer included this picture, which gives you an idea of all the weird, strange pieces used to create details all over the model. The ladybug wings for the flowers certainly is my favorite bit of detailing on a personal note, but really this bonsai model just has an excellent presence as a display piece. Number 7 is from Andrew Tate, and it is titled Riad. So this is a Moroccan Riyadh courtyard inspired build, and it's got some excellently striking color contrasts with the nougat, tan, and dark orange as sort of the base colors, and then white, light blue, and gold is acting as many of the accents around this whole area. The tiled floor has some excellent building. I haven't quite seen that diamond shape done quite that way before. Wonderful archways above all the columns and doors, and it's not the first time I've seen this, but the single 1x1 plate pieces used as detailing when you see the underside of them is a really interesting touch. I saw it once in digital. Maybe this is the first time I've seen an official real build done this way. I'm sure it takes quite a long time to line all that stuff up perfectly. And then from GolPlaysWithLego, he's got a couple of new hovercars, and there is simply a style that Gol uses here that is so clean and so elegant compared to other hovercars I've seen in the past. This guy's made a few spinners inspired from Blade Runner, and I think some of the inspiration maybe is still kind of residing here, but it really is a model, or a series of models I should say, that have taken on a look and shape of their own. Number 5 is from WoomyWorld, and this is Oni and Dragon sculpture. This was built to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Ninjago, and the details for both of these characters cannot be understated. The arching golden sword pieces used behind the dragon look excellent. I also think the build detail for the face has a really great way of popping with the blue and gold for the eye, and just the red built in straight to the mouth for an indication of the tongue. The rising black horn pieces along the back of Oni look really excellent. I love that the eyes are made of those little magenta horn pieces, and there's just enough trans purple color highlights here that help add to the evil, ominous, magical presence. In terms of BrickVault characters, these are a bit different, I would say, than your average ones, at least the average ones I normally see each week. And now we have some great nature insect builds from Hachiroku24. This is technically an ideas project if you wanted to go support it. My personal favorite in this lineup is the butterfly. The wing build is just so simple yet so perfect for what this needs to be. There's also a lot of very strange and interesting pieces used to create the praying mantis, which definitely grabs my eye. The ladybug is perfectly simple, I would say. And, well, frankly, there's something to appreciate in each of these insect builds, and I would love to see something like this actually get passed and approved in ideas. This actually does feel kind of like a project that could go all the way. From the builder ExeSandbox, I think I probably feature this designer every time they make something. It's not too often that they release massive models, but every time they do, there is just so much special detailing that you cannot ignore it. This is titled Autumn Winery, and they're behind the house. You've got some wonderfully built, wonderfully designed trees, I should say, with very vibrant yellow and red autumn colors. The grass or ground underneath them has that sort of nice burnt nougaty look to it, which is slightly different than the tan, or maybe that is nougat, that borders the base on the outside of the model. There's basically a slightly different color in every primary section of the model, and that's what really makes everything pop so incredibly well. There's a pretty even color variation for the grape leaves in the front, and a few scattered leaves on the dark blue roof of the red house. It's got a full interior. There's actually a lot of details to really get lost in for this model, but it's one of those builds that has just the right amount of really solid colors to get your eyes to focus on something, and then it's broken up with a bit of detail and variation that just makes every little inch of this diorama feel just interesting and fun to look at. Number 2, moving down the list, is a Star Wars model. I know a lot of you guys just tune in to see if you can find some cool Star Wars builds. Ben Cossy absolutely delivers here. The title is Imperial based on Dxun. I think that's how you pronounce this particular planet. It's mostly known for its dense jungles, but I love to see that this designer played around with maybe some of the highland areas where you have a bit of grass and some nice peaking jagged rocks with an Imperial base, what I'm going to assume is built into the edge of a mountainside or something like that. I love the build for the door and the whole design on the outer area. It's a lot more detailed and interesting to look at compared to, let's say, the bunker on Endor. You've got some beefy defenses with a larger turret in the corner for maybe air defense, and then a mounted smaller cannon for stormtroopers that is right outside the front of the entrance. A couple of speeder bikes for reconnaissance, and then a pretty excellent little interior as well, where it looks like they're monitoring the planet or maybe monitoring a nearby one. It's an extremely complete scene with great nature details, excellent gritty and industrial details, and it's nice to see that so much was put into a diorama that is actually quite large. Now, a lot of the same can be said for this next giant model from Niek. The title is Lego Oil Platform, but you can see there's a lot more to it than just what the title says. We've got a mid-air helicopter that's either taking off or landing on the helipad. It's not quite built to minifig scale, though I'm sure you could put minifigs on this and have it kind of look normal. This is probably something closer to a micro or midi scale, but I love the shape for these cranes that hang off either edge. We've got some emergency escape rafts that are hanging over one side of the oil rig as well. Tons of little barrels that are scattered about the entire area, multiple levels with crates and ladders, and all the while, and this is the thing that really stood out to me, there's actually quite a bit of color. It's not this big gray monstrosity that just kind of pops out at you and all the weird fun details sort of blend in, but instead the decks have color, the crates have color, the barrels have color, the ships have color, the cranes have color. Everything has its own sort of unique look. So as you pan around the model and look at all the different angles, each wonderfully detailed area, in fact, has something that will be able to pop out at you in terms of just a display piece. Anyways, that is it for my top 10 mocks of the week episode. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Remember, if you enjoy our content, you can always like, subscribe, comment, share. Check out the description below if you want to learn more about any of these designers. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.